Hi, my name is Mindy DeGroff, and this is an assignment for Anatomy and Physiology oral lecture assignment. For this assignment, I'm going to discuss the neurological and endocrine hormonal pathways related to the normal physiology of breastfeeding, and I will also discuss the afferent and efferent nerve pathways associated with the physical touch stimulation and the essential hormones involved and their origin and feedback mechanisms that they utilize. I apologize for the Lion King soundtrack playing in the background, but it is the only way to keep my kids out of here. So here we go. So a mother's body, is anatomically evolved to know when and how to make milk to nourish her baby. This is done through several amazing and intricate hormonal and neurological mechanisms that are finely tuned to meet a baby's nutritional needs on demand. The nervous system and the endocrine system work in conjunction to make and express breast milk to a hungry baby. And I'm going to talk about the two main hormones involved in this process and the neurological processes that are involved to make and secrete the milk. So the first hormone that I'm going to talk about is oxytocin. When a baby begins suckling at his or her mother's breast, mechanoreceptors in the breast pass sensory information and impulses through the breast up the spinal cord to the mother's brain, specifically a part of the brain called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is located at the base of the brain near the pituitary gland. And the hypothalamus is going to instruct neurons called oxytocin neurons to release oxytocin. The hormone oxytocin is secreted via the posterior pituitary gland, and the oxytocin's job is to stimulate myoepithelial cells to contract. So a little bit of background on that. The myoepithelial cells are epithelial cells that surround the mammary glands, which store milk and make milk. The oxytocin signals the myoepithelials to contract around the mammary glands, which makes the milk collected in the mammary glands flow and fill the lactiferous ducts or the milk ducts, which ejects the milk into the baby's mouth. And this whole process is referred to as the letdown reflex. So that is how the milk is contracted and then sent into the baby's mouth. Now we're going to talk about how the milk actually gets there in the first place. So at the same time that the baby is suckling, another neurological process is going to happen in the mom, which is going to cause a cascade of processes that ultimately lead to the secretion of the hormone prolactin. So this process is going to actually cause the mother to make milk. When the baby suckles, once again, sensory impulses are going to go up the spinal cord to the hypothalamus. And through the hypothalamus, the anterior pituitary gland is going to release an off signal, which this off signal is going to instruct cells called prolactin inhibitory neurons to turn their off signal off. And this was a little bit confusing. So basically, prolactin inhibitory neurons are present at all times in the female body, and their job is, just as their name suggests, to inhibit prolactin. They are at all times that a mother does not have a baby, signaling her body to not produce prolactin. But this signal, this off signal from the anterior pituitary gland, is going to tell those cells to turn that signal off, which is going to allow cells and the anterior pituitary gland to produce and secrete prolactin. So prolactin, now that it has been allowed to begin to be produced, is going to cause a process of lactogenesis, or milk production, which occurs in the mammary glands. So together, prolactin, which is secreted through the anterior pituitary gland and other cells in the body via instructions from the hypothalamus, causes the production of milk. And oxytocin, which is secreted through the posterior pituitary gland, also through instructions from the hypothalamus, initiates contractions of the myoepithelial cells that eject the milk to the baby. And remember, the hypothalamus gains these instructions via the outside sensory impulses or the suckling baby. What's kind of interesting is that tactile stimulation is not the only way to cause these neurological processes to happen. Other ways can also be the sound of a baby's cry or the smell of her baby can also cause these same neurological processes to happen in milk production and milk to be made. So it all really is pretty amazing. So that's it. Thank you.